huge revelations in this chapter of Black Clover. I mean, it's just been back to back for the past few chapters of Black Clover of just bombshell after bombshell. I think once we hit 200, the author was like, yo, I'm stepping it into overdrive, baby, because it seems as though every chapter now we're getting something humongous, whether it was the revelation of Nero talking, whatever it may be. We just continuously are getting these big, huge bombshells in these chapters, baby, and I ain't mad at it. Black Clover 203. Let's get to it.
Whether Facebook, Twitter, or the Zoom, make sure to steer clear, cause I'm coming through like...
Now, of course, this chapter yet again displays that they're in an impossible situation. It seems as though this devil and his magic and how strong he is just unfathomable. It seems as though there's no hope against him. They try to shoot some shots at the black magic because it's disintegrating everything, and he's completely in an entire different class than most of the mages there, if not all of them there, because Yami even, you know, it's bad when Yami's arm gets injured. That means like things is not, you know what I'm saying, gonna progressively get any better from here. It's curtains from here on out, because this chapter was again displaying just how dangerous the devil in Black Clover really is, and how, you know, just menacing he is. Again, it shows that these people don't stand a chance where they're at right now, and that only pushes forward even more, in my opinion, the theory that we're getting a time skip, because if the devil is outclassing them like this, that it almost seems like they really have no choice but to try and like run. Like Asta is kind of just like this plot cheat code, so to speak, that, you know, he didn't get injured by any of that stuff that fell on him, but it seems as though that they're in a fight that they can't win right now, at the very least. And if they can, it's at best, you know, just trying to back him down and, you know, using all of their forces together to try and take him down, because the devil is just outmatching all of them, and that's one of the traits of already a very ferocious villain that is not to be played with. The fact that they're all just like rats to him in this whole maze, it's freaking incredible. The devil, in a few chapters that he kind of just flipped the script and, you know, pulled this whole, hey, I've been behind the scenes pulling the wool over these people's eyes, a la Magi, where, you know, one of the Magi were the traitors to the king all those years ago, or, you know, Naruto, the whole Kaguya, all that stuff, which I don't want to keep on with the Naruto comparisons because I see people get mad at it. But in a sense, it just shows the importance of the devil, and again, just this whole nasty situation. And I think this chapter pushes forth even more what this arc has been pushing forth, that, yeah, with Julia's passing, Nozel looks like an incredible replacement for the next Wizard King, Magic Emperor, or whatever you want to call him. Nozel is starting to really take up the mantle of being what you need to be. Because Nozel, for a long time, obviously the whole Silver family was just absolute scum, treated everybody like, you know, they were nothing, they didn't compliment everybody. But you've seen even throughout this arc that even people like Nozel have developed. I think it was because of Noelle, the central characters, the main characters of the story, Noelle overcoming all the odds and showing that she's truly one of them, even though they looked down at her for so long. It opened up their eyes and gave character development to Nozel, because he's thinking like a leader should think. When he's like, yo, we need a top priority, we gotta save people, he's putting people in position. He is showing why, of course, he's the captain of the Silvers group, but also the fact that he's a good candidate to become the next Wizard King, because he's thinking like a benevolent leader. He's thinking with care, compassion, thinking of saving people. He's not with that same ignorant attitude of just treating everybody like, the weak can die, whatever, we just need to save the strong. That's went out the window. I think Nozel might be the new Wizard King. I'm just calling it right here. For a while, I thought it was going to be possibly, you know, Fuegoleon's sister or Fuegoleon. Now I'm looking more like Silver House is going to take it, which, don't get me wrong, a lot of them have changed a bit or developed, but not all of them are changed and developed, so it's going to give them even more bragging rights and make the story, if we get a time skip or something, even more interesting, because if he becomes, you know, the next Wizard King, then who takes up the mantle, and is that same person going to have the same feelings that Nozel has of like, okay, we got to treat people with compassion? So many different things to go over once we get to that point. I think initially, possibly, Tabata was toying with making Fuegoleon or his sister the next Wizard King. Now it's looking more like it'll be Nozel. And I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, if there's anything problematic, it does feel very cheap that, oh, the main character, Asta, is the only one that is unaffected. I mean, we see Patri gets burned on his arm, I think. I want to say it was Patri. It was either Lit or Patri, one of them, because there's two. I'm trying to get the hang of understanding everything, because it's a little confusing, but I want to say it was Patri that his arm got burnt, because again, now the magic is seeping into the other layers of the maze, where Asta, Yuno, and, the rest of them are whatever, Nozel, and everyone else that's there. Asta being able to not take damage, it does feel a little bit cheap. I'm not gonna lie, it does feel like, I mean, it does make sense because he has no magic, and it seems as though that just eats up mana, but it was also eating up life force from Yami. So what's different from Asta and Yami? If you know what I mean? Okay, it sucked out the magic, but is it because magic is connected to your life force, and that's why it was able to suck up? Like when Yami got hurt, he felt like it was sucking his life force up, but it did absolutely nothing to Asta. I mean, it shows again that, yeah, it's a cheap thing, but it also gives more hints at Asta's heritage. Because honestly, I'm gonna say that this chapter right here, it's starting to make me really believe that we might have been trolled from the very beginning of Black Clover. Because Black Clover has seemingly become one of the best trolls at tropes that it could be. It's taking things that you think it's going to happen because it's been so predictable for a point. For a period of time, Black Clover felt predictable. It's like, oh, okay, it's going to follow the typical thing. And now it's taking a different approach. So now I'm wondering, Wizard King, first Wizard King, is he really even related at all to Asta? I said it in my last video, and I'll say it again. It would be freaking great if he shows up, especially now that he's with Nero, which we're going to talk about that. Oh, baby, we're going to talk about that. But I could totally see him showing up, the Magic Wizard King, the first Wizard King, and Asta saying, hey, are you my dad? And him saying, hell no. They might not even be related at this point. I'm starting to wonder if there's even any relation at all. But at the very least, we could tell that it's not a father or grandfather type of thing, unless they were like pushed into the future, Asta and Yuno, somehow from the past. There's a possibility there. Because when we seen the memories in the last chapter or two of all the things that happened or whatever, I think it was when Patri was going crazy or whatever, we seen all those memories. There was ones of Asta and Yuno when they were younger. So maybe Asta and Yuno are from 500 years ago. There's that possibility. Or it could be just this big troll that, no, it has nothing to do with them. Because one of the things is 500 years. How could it be possible for this guy to be anything other than like some distant, ancient relative? 500 years is a long time. And the reason I'm saying 500 years is because Nero said that after she basically used her magic to put him into that spell, or it was one of them, it was either the first Wizard King, because holy cow, the first Wizard King is revived in this chapter 203, another huge bombshell chapter. Like, this is crazy. But one of the things that was said is that, again, she's been in that state of a bird for 500 years since she froze the first Wizard King. So 500 years, again, Asta and Yuno either have to have come from that time period of the elves and all that, or again, they're not related at all. And this has just been one hell of a troll. And in the next time skip thing, the intro will be something totally different, because it's been leading us to believe that this person is of some sort of relation to them. I'm looking at it, maybe the uncle theory, maybe the whole thing of like Lit is somehow their father or some shit. That would be freaking crazy. I don't know. Either way, it was freaking incredible. The ending of the chapter, or the last few pages of the chapter, when we cut back to ForneverWorld, Nero, and the first Wizard King. So the first Wizard King has been unpetrified. He looks like he's still stonish or whatever, so I don't know exactly if the magic it dissipates over time, but it looked like his design didn't look all the way like he was 100% human again, or 100% normal again. Again, he's from 500 years ago. And another thing is, Nero refers to him as Prince. So we're starting to piece together even further that if Asta and Yuno are of any relation, he was of nobility. So maybe it could be that he was the prince, his sister was the one that was with Lit. It could make sense and connect there, but I'd still, honestly, I'd prefer if Asta and Yuno aren't related to them at all. It would be a real big and incredible, huge troll, but it's been 500 years, so unless Asta and Yuno were pushed forward in time by 500 years, or 490 years or some shit like that, 480 something years, then yeah, maybe they're not related at all. That would be freaking crazy. But nonetheless, absolutely incredible. And then when we get the revelation that Nero is actually some gothic, demonic looking chick that rolls with the first Wizard King. I don't know if they were a couple together or what was going on, but that was freaking, see, me, I thought Nero was going to be some buff dude. I did not expect for it to be another chick. And now, I guess, with the whole, because the pairing wars that have been going on in Black Clover, now it's like, Noelle got a run for, honestly, I don't want Asta to end up with Noelle, and maybe I'll talk about that in another video, but I just feel as though, I mean, I guess it would break the mold from, like, Naruto didn't end up with his Noelle, which was Sakura. Sakura was like Noelle's a better version of Sakura. And Naruto didn't end up with her. He ended up with his Mimosa, Hinata. So maybe Asta won't end up with Mimosa. I would freaking go crazy if he ended up with Nero. I mean, Nero, why is she hanging around Asta? You know what I'm saying? She must know a lot about him. Maybe Nero is Asta's mom or something. That'd be freaking crazy as well. I don't even know. Well, she looks a little young, I'm not gonna lie, but she's been around 500 years, so her mind is obviously older. But that design, that surprise between that and the first Wizard King being unfrozen, and that they were put in that state at the same time 500 years ago when Nero used her magic to turn him into that, she turned into that bird. Black Clover, bro. Black Clover, absolute best chapter I've read of the day. I mean, I read, One Piece, My Hero Academia, and Black Clover, and My Hero and One Piece had their moments, but Black Clover is just on a whole other level right now. Black Clover is on some real major shit. Also, something to note is that the first Wizard King basically was admitting that he's a lot weaker than he used to be, and that, it's due to him being incomplete. So I don't know, will the first Wizard King be around after this? Probably not. Maybe it'll be one big thing, because one of the things that he also said that is very important to note is, so he has a human body. So this devil is possibly what those demon bones come from. Maybe that was his original form, and he finally got like a human body form, so now he's able to really move freely, because I'm imagining moving in that big rugged exterior is a lot more difficult than having that small body. So it's gonna be freaking interesting to see. It seems as though this is a rivalry or a fight that stems from the first Wizard King's time, but also he did that's something else to know. There's just so much to talk about with this chapter, that he had Nero petrify him in that state, the first Wizard King, when he was on the verge of death. So why did he have that done when he was on the verge of death? And is he still on the verge of death? Was he dying at that point and that's why he did it? Maybe he has an illness and that's what's going to kill him in the end. Something there. I don't freaking know. This chapter was bananas. And then, of course, Nero and the first Wizard King seemingly fly off into the heart of the mana, dropping Finroll. Classic Finroll always gets troll, bro. At the end of the manga, I'm guaranteeing Finroll's gonna have the most horrible, shitty, freaking just joke of a life, because yeah, it makes sense why Nero wouldn't really rock with Finroll, because Finroll's so pervy and always trying to go out on dates, and Nero's gonna be like, yeah, I'm a goth chick, I'm demonic, she seems to have a thing for the first Wizard King, I don't know, maybe, kind of look like it. It's freaking crazy, but again, she also calls him Prince, so maybe that's one of his retainers, maybe that's one of his guards, but if she looks demonic as well, so there's just so many questions. Black Clover 203 just blowing my mind. Curious what you guys thought about this chapter. For starters, why in particular, he said when he was on the verge of death, he had Nero petrify him or put him in the state that he's been asleep for 500 years. So is he with an ailment? Is he going to die soon and that's why he has to quickly go? Also, he was seemingly referring to the devil, which seemingly is those bones, that big demon creature that you see at the beginning of the anime every episode. This is their battle coming to a conclusion. Also, Nero, do you think that Nero is in the running now for Asta's harem? I mean, what do you think is Nero's gonna be her whole goal? And does this kind of shatter the whole thing? Because again, 500 years. Asta and Yuno must have come from 500 years ago then for them to be related to these people. If not, this could be one of the biggest trolls in shonen manga history. The fact that the beginning has hinted that these people are related or some sort, or maybe because they're adopted, but it's gonna be freaking crazy, or we might not get much answers, who knows. Maybe they'll just get that that's their actual uncle or actual dad or something, and they're from that time, but they don't know why they're here. So many different questions. But I guess also, if the first Wizard King, because he looks really young, if he was frozen in that time and he's potentially related to these kids, then he wouldn't even have really known them for that long, right? They would probably have just been freshly born. So there's, again, And your overall thoughts and expectations, Black Clover 203, absolutely incredible chapter. Nero, the first Wizard King, the devil closing in, Yami injured. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit the bell to get all notifications. I'd really appreciate it if you hit it because, yeah, YouTube been crazy lately. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day. Can't forget the music though. Hold on, let me play a little something.
Everything good always comes to an end. If you stab me in my back, we can never make amends. Trying to move to acceptance, hard to accept it. Mistakes like mirrors, gotta reflect it. I don't wanna fucking leave, but I gotta leave. Leave the maybes to the crazies. Maybe one day there I go admitting something in a subtle way. No more copies, leave without a trace.